Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians Cast, episode 285. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Gloria. What's up, Gloria?
Hey.
What's up, Tim?
What up?
What's up, Beefhead?
What am I letting myself in for?
Okay. All right. Guys, get ready for this crazy ride. Okay? This is my speculation. It may become actuality.
You're not visible, by the way, at least from me.
Not really.
Hold on.
I'm invisible.
Can you see him, Tim?
Yeah.
Now I
I can now.
Yep. Okay. It may or may not become true, but it makes perfect sense. Now, off air, we just watched some clips. I was sitting on the bus, and all of a sudden, I was just thinking about Doctor Who. I don't know why I was thinking about the 50th. I saw this poster for Sci-Fi Outlander advertisement about the woman's future is her past or something, which I don't know what that show is about. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting on the bus, and all of a sudden, I was like, came to me. Like when Doc Brown was standing on his toilet, and he fell when he got the flux capacitor in his head. Okay? Immediately, I realized the answer to the riddle that I didn't even know there was a riddle. Okay? And that being, okay, that the whole thing with the doctors getting the calculations for centuries to save Gallifrey, okay? The equation was supposed to be complete with Matt Smith's doctor.
Yeah.
So why was the 12th Doctor there? Wait. It was complete with Matt Smith.
Yeah.
But Capaldi was there. Now,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Wait. Now we see that Matt Smith says, I could be the curator.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you can be, of Gallifrey. Now wait a minute. We see what appears to be the curator looks like an older version of the 4th Doctor. Okay? And he says you may find yourself revisiting familiar faces. The key lies that he gave him the basic subliminal subconscious message, all right, if he was a future Doctor, on what to do. Sort of like when the 10th Doctor whispered in the people's ear that Harry Jones looks tired.
Yeah.
He did it on himself. He gave himself the idea to take the form of Capaldi and revisit a familiar face. Okay? Now, why would he revisit a familiar face of the fires of Pompeii? Which, that person, well, Gallifrey was lost in fire. Lost. Okay?
But that was a doctor
soothsayers-
really more than that.
Wait, there was the soothsayers was saying it, right? The person that he saved was the guy that had the face of the Doctor at the time we didn't know, right? What if Gallifrey not only was put into another universe, but was shrunk? We have episodes coming that the TARDIS shrinks,
Yeah.
shrinking things. What if Capaldi, the reason why maybe a future Doctor took the form of an older version of 4th Doctor was to show that he needs to revisit a face because that's the clue where Gallifrey is. Okay? What if Gallifrey is in Pompeii, where the statue is of the TARDIS afterwards, like he saves him, whatever. What if it has something to do with Pompeii, something to do with Peter Capaldi's faces, something to do with that? Okay, there's a reason why he has to revisit that face. At some point in time, he goes back to Day of the Doctor as Peter Capaldi to get Gallifrey. Either get Gallifrey or find out where it is, or has something to do with Pompeii. I'm not sure. Okay, but
Well, what about Children of Earth?
he is the curator of Gallifrey. He's not taking care of. He's not a curator of the museum. He's a curator of Gallifrey, meaning he's the protector of Gallifrey. He's the savior of Gallifrey.
That's dude. Hold on a second. That's a complete misunderstanding of the Doctor's character because the Doctor never wants to be on Gallifrey.
I know
That's why
that.
he left.
Yeah.
But he did save it. He did save it. And he's
Well, of course he saved it. I mean,
He saved the
people all
children.
time.
Because
he
of the children.
protected his
Yeah.
people in time of the Doctor from
Yeah, and
coming
remember,
through.
and remember at the end of the 50th, he was talking about he was excited because he was going home the long way around, but he was still going home.
Well, I mean, what he
going
meant was he was happy he saved it, but he's not in a big hurry to get there.
Right. Well, he was a curator of Terenzalor, and he also protected his people from coming through to get killed by the Daleks. Okay. The key is that whatever face has to do with Gallifrey, it's all connected. All right.
I think it's key with him saying he's going around the long way.
The equation was
That just
done
means
with
they don't want to go there anytime soon. I think they're just going to leave it on the back burner, pretty much, I think.
Well, the equation was
It's a
done with the 11th Doctor, but there's a reason why Capaldi was there, the 12th Doctor, and there's a reason why they were all standing looking at the stars and the 12th Doctor wasn't there.
Yeah.
They were all there but the 12th. Okay?
Well, I think that the reason for that is because at this point, when they were filming, they already knew that they had the next guy lined up, and they just said, how cool would that be to throw in the new guy just for
No, but there was a reason why he was put in there. It wasn't just for show. It was the plot points. It was a story arc. He took the face of a familiar face, just like the curator, for a reason it has to do with Gallifrey. It's connected somehow. Maybe it's not just that they're in Pompeii, the Gallifrey War. Maybe it has something to do. Now, I don't know what the thing would be with Children of Earth. I'm not really sure. But his face is the answer to where Gallifrey is.
Well, I mean,
but you had Colin Baker in episodes before he regenerated into Colin Baker.
I know that.
I mean, they mentioned that they were going to tie it together, but yeah, how are you going to squeeze the really human guy from Children of Earth in? I mean,
I don't know.
That guy just gets the raw deal. I mean, the whole series.
Frobisher,
Now, will they forget about that and just focus on the Pompeii? Could he be the Doctor with a chameleon arch that just doesn't remember? But then he had kids, then he had wife. So.
Well, I mean, the thing is that they've already mentioned it that they were going to kind of tie it all together, but at the end of the day, that particular miniseries distances itself from Doctor Who in a big way, so that you think that they're in two different universes. Like, in other words, this particular Torchwood isn't really part of the Doctor Who universe because, I mean, Gwen even says, "I understand why the Doctor won't come here now because we don't deserve him. I mean, this is how bad we are, you know."
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean.
I haven't worked out the Torchwood thing, really. I don't know how that would fade. But also, too, we were talking the other night, and who said that Rory was around during the fall of Pompeii?
Well, I read it somewhere. I mentioned about reading someone's comment about it.
Okay. And wasn't...
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was in Rome when.
He wasn't. He
was in the Fire of Rome, and he was seen dragging the Pandorica. No, sorry, that was the Blitz. But he was also in Rome when Rome burned, when Nero was emperor. Yeah. Not Pompeii.
The whole curator thing just might be a tie-in.
Italy, but yeah, that's why I didn't. That's why I agreed with one of the fans that was commenting to the other commenter, saying, "What does Rory have to do with Pompeii?" Because Pompeii is totally different than Rome. I mean,
so you don't think the curator gave him the idea that he had to take another face subliminally?
I really don't get the curator bit. I just thought it was kind of a throwback to something that happened earlier last year with the book that Amy wrote. There's a character, Summer Falls. There's a character in there that is the curator of the museum, who is obviously the Doctor. He's the Doctor with all but name. I mean, he has a magic shed, and there's a cat that spent a little too much time in there, so it's a talking cat now, and it's a really good story. It's like a kid's adventure.
To a talking dog, yeah.
Yeah, that Amy wrote back in the 50s after being zapped back to the past. So I mean, but in other words, I just thought that's what that might be. Just the curator of the museum. Yeah, he's the Doctor, isn't he? So
something always bugs me every single time I see that scene. It's like the whole thing with him touching his nose, even though it's a whole thing with making fun of Tom Baker's nose, but at the same time it's like he's trying to give him like sometimes when people tell you like couples, they say, do something on air to give me a message, a subliminal message that no one else will know, and they itch their chin or their eyebrow or whatever. But to me, it seemed like he was trying to tell him something along with just making fun of the whole, like, Stephen Moffat.
Could it be, because he smelled the master in the end of time, that the master smelled him. Could it be that he smelled Gallifrey?
Yeah.
Come on. That he would be able to smell
what he said is, he said about the faces, visiting old faces, and he's like, well, I wouldn't know that, about whether he should go look for Gallifrey or not. He's like, he can only tell him what.
Well, if he can smell the master, he can smell his people. I mean, come on. I know it's funny, but come on.
And then he said,
smell the master.
Who knows? So it's like
the master, like, and at the time, he's like smelling the doctor, like who's around, and then the doctor's like smelling him when they first like came on the
True that.
the wastelands. Yeah, remember that when the master's like this, he's like that, and he's smelling him.
I think it's more like the quickening that you would have in Highlander. I think it's more akin to that. Morphic fields.
I just have a feeling that the Capaldi's face that was, taken from something else or whatever, the 12th Doctor, has to do with Godfrey.
I would say you have a valid point with regards to the calculations, because at that point, Hilly's been doing calculations all his life. He doesn't know he's going to get another set of regenerations at that point, and I do wonder. It's a case of let's just stick in a Capaldi cameo because that would be really cool.
Yeah, but there was something else to that.
What do you guys think about like the eternity clock? The whole like a clock. You know how like the bells take like toll. Like he said about the chime when it showed the 12th Doctor's eyes. It kind of makes me think of clocks, and about all the clocks that are within time itself, and then Clara being born behind Big Ben, and about the 12th, the little song about the Christmas episode about him, the bells, his time, to come instead of 11th hour is over and all that. It's really funny how a clock has 12 numbers on it. And then, so it's like, could everything be going in a circle? And that's why all the future past doctors, were doing it, even though, how would they know they needed to do the calculation? I'm confused about that. Like, okay, yeah, they've been working on it all their lives, but the first Doctor didn't know about Gallifrey being, time locked.
We don't know that at all.
Yeah. So it's how would
the Doctor never lives a linear life. As much as the TV show has been shown kind of linearly, where he runs into different people time after time, it's never a linear thing. This is a guy that he's somewhere else all the time. So he could have been doing this his whole life for all of his incarnations. He could have been. We don't know.
But did he know about Gallifrey needing to be saved in that way, and that he needed to do that?
He might have done. Even though back then they didn't call it Gallifrey. We didn't know where he came from. It was all made up later. But the point is, you can work that in there if you want to. You can say, oh, okay, yeah, he knew that. Yeah. The first Doctor, the second Doctor.
One person wrote a
fanfic always in the back of their mind, like this is something
where he's in like a giant loop, and that he's going to have to eventually live out all those lives again, but in a different way. It's
not linear. It's not linear at all. Okay, it may be Amy and Rory's Wednesday when the Doctor shows up. It may be their Saturday when he shows up again. But in his mind, I'm just there. It's I don't know what day it is. I'm bopping around saving people and doing my thing. So.
Yeah.
True.
I thought it was cool whenever Thor came on again and said that he's going to revisit old faces. I thought that was neat. Because I was like, okay.
But I honestly believe it didn't mean to be like that. It meant to be that about revisiting a face as a clue. Because he said, you know what I'm saying? I think that's.
Yeah, it could be. You never know.
Only the reason I say that is because Moffat said he was going to reuse a Russell D. Davis story.
Yeah.
And he said he's definitely doing it.
Well, he said he was going to address the fact that Peter Capaldi has been in the show before, first
Well,
in
Doctor Who
Fire
show
Pompeii.
before. I
Yeah,
think he's
and
going
then
to discount
later Torchwood.
Torchwood.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to mention Torchwood. He meant the show, meaning Doctor Who only, not Torchwood.
No, he said both.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't see how he can do it.
But he said it's not going to be a very. He says it's not going to be a huge thing, but.
Yeah.
Moffat lies anyway. That's the way it works. Anyway.
Yeah, he does lie.
He's trying to be provocative and say, okay, hey, you don't even know what's going on yet. Go watch, Children of Earth,
Like
and
how
we
he
know
said
ever
that
since the
Clara wasn't
beginning-
connected to any past characters, and yet she was, because she was the girl on Asylum of the Daleks, so that was like a complete lie.
Also, we know Gallifrey was saved because the woman in the beginning of End of Time was after the Time War, and she was older.
Yeah.
So, that's what I feel. I mean, time is backwards and forwards, and, Gallifrey could be around for so long, the new Who.
Making me think of Eternity Club.
The woman at the end of in the end of time. She's not there after the Time War.
Beginning of End of Time. Beginning of End of Time. It's after the Time War, after the Time Lock. She was lost once. She was with Rassilon, but then she was saved. She was found. Meaning they'll get out of the Time Lock. They'll save Gallifrey. Something will happen.
Yeah.
So it's backwards. Like she's already saved. She's already out, and she's just manipulating the timeline for some reason.
She's trying to manipulate Wolf. Is that what you're saying?
She needed to do something to change something.
Yeah, kind of like how the whole thing, how they're saying that he's going to try to fix some wrongs he made.
And it could be that they had to give him regenerations because they saw, well, wait a minute. We saw 13 Doctors. We would create a paradox because he's the one that has the last calculation to save us. So we have to give him regenerations based on that. Not that they wanted to. Because maybe they were waiting for Peter Capaldi's doctor, not Matt Smith, not for him to talk to them, but they needed to see his face in order to come out.
Yeah.
Because that was the last face that helped out with the equation.
Yeah.
Or maybe he didn't help the equation out. Maybe he planted Gallifrey somewhere. Like, while they got the calculations, he grabbed it. And he put it somewhere, and that's why they needed to, it's like backwards. Like, in other words, a future version of Capaldi will save Gallifrey.
Right, I think it's somewhere. I don't think it's been miniaturized like Kandor.
Or something. He knows where it is.
It's been pocket universe. It's been taken out of
existence. But he knows where it is because he was part of the equation.
Well, yeah, he knows where it is because he's the one that did it. I mean, he's the one that.
But all the Doctors weren't aware of his presence. Only the Time Lords were. They said 13 Doctors, meaning the 12th Doctor. They weren't aware of his presence. He kept it secret from them.
Well.
Yeah. Also, why would he keep it a secret from all the other?
But in other words, it's the 50th anniversary gimmick because we already know who the next guy's going to be. So let's throw him in there for 2 seconds.
Yeah, but
why not?
But it's not that simple, though.
Make it that doesn't mean that they won't use it to make it something cool.
Complex, right?
Yeah.
Which they will.
I mean, it might not be.
Look at what they did with Time Angels.
Still be cool.
When the Doctor grabs Amy, he's like, "You have to remember," and you're like, well, "Why is he wearing the coat?" If the angel grabbed the coat, and at the end, you saw him that he was going backwards in his time stream.
Mhm.
I've
always thought that was kind of weird. He's going backwards in his time.
Well, yeah, because they opened season 6 with a season finale. I mean, that's what they did, pretty much. That's why that season works backwards in a way. So it's all that kind of timey-wimey thing.
It's funny that Moffat reuses his own ideas, where he's going backwards in his own time stream, and Clara's going through his time stream, and he's going through his just like what
and how when she jumped into the time stream, the winds were going up and she was going down. It's like really weird how time moves, even though it's not linear. It's still kind of
just like when they repeated the Pandora, where every force was coming to Stonehenge, and just like the time of the Doctor, every force was called towards Trenzalore. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
Moffat repeats.
Why not?
Constantly. Yeah.
If it works the first time, why not?
Like Rivers said, what are you going to do? Make a cabinet when they were fighting the Silence with the sonic screwdriver,
and
yes.
then John Hurt said the same thing. He's like,
Yes.
"Oh, why y'all pointing those at me? You're gonna make a cabinet?"
Yes.
Like that
Yes.
was weird how he said the exact same phrasing the way she said it.
Like Matt Smith said, if you forgot, something he said. Matt Smith said a speech in Series 5, and that speech was repeated by Clara's mom to Clara when she was a child.
Yeah.
Which one?
You talking about what Amy says to Baby Melody in the thing? It's similar to how Ellie.
Something not really.
Yeah.
I love something not really. I will always be. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you were something.
No matter how far you
are,
you will be there to save you every single time. I love that. That's really sweet.
When did the doctor say that?
Certain
that was
things.
Clara's mom that said
The
that.
doctor. Yeah,
No, but he said something in Series 5 that was very similar.
To whom?
To Amy.
To Amy.
Yeah, to Amy.
Because I was watching with Sharon record that.
I seriously wish I could remember.
You don't remember the episode though, because we can look it up right now since I got my device connected.
I'm trying to. Isn't it? Hang on. I'm trying to remember. Okay, I could hear some of that conversation, but I can't remember what the situation around them is, like what's going on.
All right, you know what? Let's do this. Let's end this. I was just going to end the show. Brian, you're out of luck. We're going to end the show. We're gonna research something.
Okay.
All right.
And we may do another one later. With.
All right, guys. Take care, my friend. Thank you.